Yeah, King Lear is actually such a drama with layers that study can never end, as I told you in the very beginning also. So we shall be exploring King Lear this whole month, but we are just skipping few lines so that at least first bird's eye view, you may say, we can have of the entire drama, that what are the major incidents that are taking place, and then you get the feel of the atmosphere when such and such story took place. That feel is very important. That is why I give you pictures also, so that you can just understand. You just go to Google Images and you get the pictures, and there are some actors who have in England who have worked on the stage or in the movie. Okay, so through their dresses, through the stage settings, you can evoke that idea that how these characters would have talked, how they would have moved about, how they would have expressed themselves. So that is also equally important in literature while studying drama. Right. So now I come to Act 4. It's Act 4, Scene 6. Right. Just I hope you have taken picture of the gallery. So if you want, you can go as you like. Your video is very welcoming. There's no problem with that. Keep your mics off. And whenever you have to say something, at that time you can unmute your mics. Now we come to scene 6. See, this is the scene. It's a field near Dover. Dover is actually a place in England where there is a beach, and at the same time there are mountains also. Dover beach is very famous. Okay, so till now what has happened is that Gloucester is so much frustrated with his life that he wants to end his life. You know that he is blind, all the violence that has taken place with him, and now he does not trust his son Edmund. He knows that he is not a good human being and he can do anything. Now he knows he has been the partner also in this crime. So all these things are there. So now he is planning that he should kill himself. He wants to commit suicide. So now he is going with one person who is taking him to the mountain cliff. So here Edgar comes. He is dressed as a however, Gloucester cannot see him, but he has changed his so that he is not cannot be recognized. So, but what happens that he comes and convinces that man that I'll take care of this old man, and you may hand this old man over to me. Right. So now Gloucester and Edgar are together. Gloucester does not know that it is his son who is guiding him, who is holding his hand. Okay, and that man takes his leave. So now Gloucester, when this scene begins, Gloucester and Edgar, they are reaching Dover, that cliff from where Gloucester plans to commit suicide. Now what happens that Edgar is now presently, moving slowly and trying to convince his father that see what Gloucester says, when will we come to the top of that same hill? When will we reach that cliff, mountain top? Edgar, you do climb up it now. Look how we labor. See how much we have. We are getting tired because we are just climbing up and going uphill. So he is trying to convince this blind man that it is a great height that we have reached. Okay. So, but Gloucester is having some doubt. He says, methinks the ground is even. Doesn't seem that we are going uphill. Horrible steep. Hark, do you hear the sea? Can you hear the sea? No, truly. Why then your senses grow imperfect by your eyes anguish. You know, your eyes are so sad, so much of violence has taken place, you cannot see the things properly, but actually with your eyes other senses are also getting imperfect. You cannot guess see to what height we have reached now. It is horribly steep here. very steep here. So Edgar then what actually is doing? Edgar is taking him to a field which is very plain. Okay. So it may be indeed, methinks thy voice is altered, and thou speaks in better phrase and matter than thou didst. उसको यही नहीं पता है कि उसका जो companion has changed. He thinks it is that same old man who was taking him. You are much deceived in nothing. Nothing am I changed, but in my garments I have just changed my clothes. Okay. Methinks you are better spoken. You are not talking like a village man. The man who was taking me with him, who was supporting me, who was helping me, who was assisting me, was a rustic person. He was a villager. But you speak in such a clear voice. Edgar, come on, sir. Here's the place. Stand still. How fearful and dizzy. I think I'm not reading original text, right? Is it original text? I don't think so.
Ma'am, it is original.
Original.
Okay. The same language is given in your text also?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because this word dizzy, I thought he says something else in place of dizzy. Okay. Come on, sir. Here's the place, stand still. This is the cliff. If you just move about, you may fall. How fearful and dizzy. Dizzy means I am feeling vertigo. By seeing such high cliff, I think I may fall. होता है ना बहुत height पे आप चले जाते हो तो आपको लगता है आप गिर रहे हो. You lose your control over yourself. He says this. Then to cast one's eyes so low, I cannot see the depth, the steepness. The crows and chirps that wing the midway air show scarce so gross as beetles. He says it is so steep here that the crows that are flying between here and there are birds here, different kinds of birds, and they seem to be when from bottom you used to see them, they used to be so small, but here they are appearing so big in size because we have reached such a height that even birds are flying beneath us. It is such a great height, so it is a very dreadful thing. Okay, so he says that he and and these he can see fishermen also, and these fishermen, when he's seeing down into the sea, that these people, they appear to be very small. Okay, so it is such a height. He's trying to convince Gloucester that it is very high. So Gloucester says, set me where you stand. Okay, let me stand at such a place where there's such a height. When you see this, he wants to jump from there. Okay, so Edgar says, okay, fine, give me your hand, I'll help you. And he takes him to that. Now fare you well, sir. Now you can jump from here. Edgar says. Gloucester says, with all my heart, yes, I'm doing this. Why do I triple? Thus with his despair is done to cure it. Okay, so as Edgar says, okay, let me jump, so help me, let me jump where I from where I, he says, okay, fine, goodbye, and he is saying, okay, I'm doing this thing wholeheartedly. And Edgar starts walking. Okay, and then after going a bit far away, he stops there and sees how his worried father is such an old man. He is ready to, he doesn't want to see his father in this state. Okay, and what Gloucester does, he just kneels because he has to pray to God before jumping, before dying. So he says, oh, you mighty gods, this world I do renounce. I leave this world in order to die. And then he shake patiently my great affliction off. Affliction, all these struggles that I have gone through. So I want to leave all that and I am coming. Then Edgar says, okay, fine, you can do that. Gloucester stands there. He just for a moment, because he is also feeling giddy. He feels that he is standing at such a great height. Okay, so away and let me die. Hadst thou been aught but gossamer, feathers, air, so much fathom down precipitating, thou shivered like an egg. You are shivering like an egg. You cannot stand still. He's trying to, make his father feel giddy of the height. He says if you had wings, if you had feathers or air, after falling this, you actually are going to just die. You are going to be shattered like an egg. Shivered means shattered, just broken into pieces. Then he says that even if 10 ships come and their mast that tells the wind's direction of wind and all, they would not be enough to measure the height. You are standing at such a great height. Now he is saying, have I fallen or not? And finally, when he feels giddy and he faint ho jata hai and he just falls up. Now when he comes back to his senses, you can leave all these skip these lines. I just wanted to show you that how he is just trying to okay. Now here Edgar, give me your arm. He has fallen down, he has fainted, and when he regains his senses, give me your arm. Up. So how is it? Feel your legs. You stand. He says, yes, I can stand. This is above all strangeness. This is so strange that you jumped from the cliff and here you have fallen down. Now here he's pretending to be that poor beggar. Right? So he says that you have there's someone in the gallery. Okay, so he says that Aditi Sikarwar and Ekta Meena. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, so Edgar says you fell down. Now I am a beggar. He is now introducing himself as a beggar. And Gloucester says, yes, I do remember what has happened and how I jumped and now that. Okay, now here he is convincing that, okay, let's do this speech. Edgar, as I stood here below me, thought his eyes were 2 full moons. You know, you fell down from such a great height and I just saw you jumping. And when I saw you jumping, I just saw that there was a demon standing beside you. And this demon had so large eyes, just that it was the size of 2 full moons. And he had 1,000 noses and he had horns. That means he's convincing his father that basically you were in wrong company. There was a devil, because that was the time when people believed in the existence of spirits and devils and gods and all that. So he said that then think that the clearest God who makes them honors of men's impossibilities have preserved thee. Now I think that it is God who has helped you to survive. Now you are away from the demon and God has given you second life. God wanted that you should live. So Gloucester says, I do remember now. Henceforth I shall bear the affliction. And I got this lesson that in this life one person should struggle, should bear all that sadness, sorrow and whatever accidents do take place in the life, till it do cry out itself, enough, enough and die. That thing you speak of, I took it for a man. Often it would say, the faint, he led me to that place. I didn't want to die. It was that devil came upon me and that devil used to say that you should die. It's enough. So Edgar says, bear free and patient thoughts. But who comes? Now he's saying that someone is coming. Who is coming? Actually, King Lear. He's frantically dressed with wildflowers and all that. He's completely mad, so he's coming. Now coming to King Lear's speech. Nature's above art in that respect. Got it? King Lear, he's not in his senses. And he comes here, and so he now approaches and says that in his madness he's saying something, take this money, this is king shilling and all that, this you can escape. Come to the second speech of Lear. That is important. Okay, he is just crying out in his madness that Goneril, Goneril with a white beard. Goneril has got a white beard. She is, he is actually, you know, women were thought to be very soft creatures. So she has acted very devilish in her life. So she is the woman with white beard. And then he says, they flattered me like a dog. I was treated like a dog when I had to say yes and no according to their will. Okay. Then he says that when the rain came to wet me once, once what happened, there was a rain and I was all wet in rain. and then there was wind also blowing that made me very shudder, and then there was thunder also that would not stop. Okay, and people told me that I am invincible, I cannot die, no harm can come to me, that I am a king. But now I realize that any human being, bad fortune can befall any human being. Okay, even the kings, they can be ill, they can be diseased. Okay. So Gloucester says the trick of that voice I do remember. I just can recognize this voice. It seems that you are king. So King Lear says this speech. Now I would do. I, every inch a king. Yes, I am 100% king, absolute king. Right? When I do stare, see how the subject quakes. That when I lay my eyes upon any human being, that person begins to shudder. That is my power. I am the king. Okay. I pardon that man's life. What was thy cause? Adultery. I pardon you. You shall not die. Okay. But what was actually wrong that you have done in life? You have done adultery. He is recognizing Gloucester, and whatever is in his heart, he cannot stop from saying. He says that. So he says that adultery. What is adultery? I hope you all know.
Yes, ma'am.
Getting engaged with a married person, or getting engaged, extramarital affairs. Yes. Okay. So, so he says that your crime in the life is that you have committed adultery, and this is why you are suffering. And then again, die. Then he says that you know. Here I am finding something else, but in real life, the wren goes to aid, the small gilded fly does lecher in my sight. Now what I can see is that a lecherous does lecher in my sight. There's a small gilded fly that seems to be very lecherous and let copulation thrive. In this world, what is happening, that the sexual relation between the illegitimate relation, that kind of adulterous relation, that is thriving. Thriving means that is blossoming. वो लोग ज़्यादा अच्छे रहते हैं जिनके ऐसे relations होते हैं, है ना? For Gloucester's bastard son was kinder to his father. Again, see, he is losing senses, and he says that Gloucester के जिसके बच्चे marriage के बाहर थे, वो कितना अच्छा था. He doesn't know that what Edmund has done to Gloucester. Okay. Then my daughters got between the lawful sheets. I was married. I remained loyal. My children are legitimate children, but see how my legitimate children are. To it luxury pell-mell, that I lack soldiers. Luxury pell-mell means that these lusty things, they survive. Okay, and then he says that he needs more soldiers so that he can fight a war. तो आप ये देख रहे हो कि his all thoughts are so incoherent. Incoherent है ना, कि कभी कुछ बात कर रहा है, कभी कुछ कर रहा है पागलपन में. He is losing his senses. और इसके बाद, but one thing that does not go from his mind is that Goneril. He cannot forget even in his madness. So he says, for Goneril, he says, see here, down from the waist they are centaurs, though women all above. You know, my daughters, they are centaur. What centaurs actually, you know, this is from Greek myth. ग्रीक मिथ में एक कैरेक्टर है जो ऊपर से वो ह्यूमन बीइंग जैसा है, और
from the upper body is a human and below he is like a horse in Harry Potter also.
हाँ, ऐसा मिक्स्ड सा है. तो बेसिकली ही इज अ बीस्ट एंड हाफ ह्यूमन एंड हाफ बीस्ट, यू कैन से. Okay, so he is now comparing his daughters to centaurs. He says my daughters are like centaurs because they are half beast. And then he says, but to the girdle do the gods inherit. Beneath is all the vents. In all creatures, जो भी lust आता है वो below belt आता है है ना, उससे ऊपर हर कोई गॉड लाइक होता है. What he is saying is that there are people who give in to lust. So there is hell, there is darkness, there is sulfurous pit. Right? So basically what he is saying, that he is treating his daughters as beasts, and he says that now he is talking about all women in general. He generalizes that thing, since he has got wound from his daughters, that means females, so he's criticizing all the females. And he says that gods can control us only till the belt, and below that everything, goes to the devil. Okay, so the gods, and when he's saying this, no, here his eyes, they appear to be very sunken, and then he feels that he's in hell and everything is burning. So that kind of disgust that comes in his mind, and then he says, "Fai, fai, papa." That means he hates everything. It is so disgustful. Give me an ounce of civet. Thoda se, it is so bad smelling thing. Just give me some fragrance, so that I can go to apothecary to sweeten my imagination. So my imagination has gone so wild, it has become so dirty, that I need good fragrance so that I can think positive. There is money for thee. Then he's giving some shilling. No. So Gloucester knows that he's a king. He says, "Let me kiss thy hand." So he says, "Let me wipe it first. It smells of mortality." So this line is important. Let me wipe it first. It smells of mortality. Means as a king, he thought he would never die. He thought that he is above human being. But now, after suffering so much in life, he feels that he is just like a common man. His daughters have been deceitful to him. He has been kicked out of his own house. So this is what happens with common man. He is not feeling well, he is ill. So that is also something that happens with common man. So he says, "Let me wipe it first. I'll not give," because these are not king's hands now. These are common man's hand, and they smell of mortality. They tell that one day I may die. Okay, so these words, they are just 5 words, and they are so important. They carry so many meanings. Okay, let me clean it. A king has to be divine. A king is a person appointed by God. Yet my hands, they smell of mortality. Right? Now Gloucester says, "O ruined piece of nature, this great world shall so wear out to naught. Dost thou know me? Do you know me?" Now he's having, are you able to recognize me? You are such a person, broken person. You are no more king. Yes, you are no more king. You are a broken person. So it seems that the world has come to end. So do you even recognize me, who I am? Now King Lear is looking at his face, and he says, "I remember your eyes. Dost thou squinny?" Means he is unable to guess that this person, can he see? Okay, so "Dost thou squinny? No, do thy worst, blind Cupid." He says, "No. Anything you can do, the Cupid is blind. Love will make you blind." So basically here, King Lear, what he is doing here, you see that he has become anti to all female race, all women on the earth. Everywhere what he sees is that a person is lustful, and in his lust he can do anything. Okay. Now here I am leaving all this. Again come to King Lear's speech. It's a long speech. I think you get it. King Lear, "And the creature run from Ker. There thou mightst behold the great image of authority, a dog obeyed in office." Got it? So Did you get these lines?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just you have to scroll and it is given below these lines. So what is cur actually? It's a stray dog. जो ऐसे on road मिलते हैं ना dog, not a pet one. So and creature run from cur. You have been running from cur. There thou mightst behold the great image of authority. That means you see great authority in what? If you run away from a dog, it seems that you have given dog an authority. A dog is sitting in the office and he is giving all the orders. So again, he is just going on and on. Through tattered clothes, small vices do appear, robes and furred gowns hide all, plates in with gold. And he says that outwardly kitna bhi saja lo, lekin andar se jo ugliness hai, it will come out. Now this again I am leaving. Now this is the scene. Now let's come to Act 5. This was Act 4, Scene 6. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Act 5. That is the last act. Here in this act, I have not reached that, but British camp. I hope you got it. The story
Yes,
the story goes that Edmund is here, Regan is here, and Edmund Goneril comes with her husband. Now Goneril and Regan, they both want an affair, extramarital affair with Edmund, and Edmund has promised his love to both sisters separately, and he is just waiting to clear. Regan is asking, whom do you love? So Edgar says that I love you, but basically he's waiting that if in the battle is going to be fought, and if after the battle ends, if Albany dies, then he can go with Goneril also. So he's waiting for that also. Got it? So these are lines all speaking about these things. And here you find that Edmund says, see here, he is all alone on the stage just before scene 2 begins. Edmund says, these lines are important in Act 5, Scene 1. To both these sisters have I sworn my love. Okay, I have promised my love to both sisters, each jealous of the other, as the stung are of the adder. They are just ready to kill each other. So samne, it seems like I am very delicious thing and they are ready to eat me. Which of them shall I take? Whom I will select? Both? One? Neither? Neither can be enjoyed if both remain alive. One has to die, so that I can have the other sister. To take the widow exasperate. So the widow means Albany may die. Okay, makes mad her sister Goneril, and hardly shall I carry out my side, her husband being alive. If he stands alive, then Goneril is of no use to me. Now then we shall use his countenance for the battle. Let me use Albany's power for the battle to be fought. Let her who would be rid of him devise his speedy taking off. Speedy taking off, he may die, as for the mercy which he intends to Lear and Cordelia. Actually, he says that Albany wants to be merciful for Lear. If in battle we win, then Lear and Cordelia will be held as a captive. So I want to show no mercy to Lear and Cordelia, but Albany wants to be merciful towards Lear. Albany does not plan on killing Lear and Cordelia. The battle done and they within our power shall never see his pardon. I will not let Albany pardon Lear and Cordelia. For my state stands on me to defend, not to debate. I will not debate whether they should be left or not. Okay, so all his villainy is now all the more clear when he with this soliloquy. Soliloquy means when a character speaks all alone, right? So this has happened. Now comes scene 2. Here Edgar, Gloucester, okay, they are all talking to each other. Then comes scene 3. Nothing has happened. Now here Cordelia comes to King Lear. Here this you should see. We are not the first who with best meaning have incurred the worst. There are so many people who have gone through ups and downs of the life. For the oppressed king am I cast down, myself put else out, frown, false fortunes frown. I did never go for the false money, false this show off. Shall we not see these daughters and these sisters when I am going to meet my daughter, my sisters? King Lear is so afraid. No, no, no. Come, let's away to prison. It's better we go to prison. They are caught now here, and we two alone will sing like birds. This speech is very important. What has happened is that in the war, both have been caught. They are held captive. Okay, and Cordelia wants to see her sisters. Edmund is there. So King Lear is saying to his daughter, Cordelia, we two alone will sing like birds in the cage. Who can explain this line? Anyone? This is the last scene that we are discussing today. Anyone? Ayushi or Shobna, just stop. Let me ask Ayushi first. Ayushi Pachori.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain this? Shaurya?
Ma'am, it's like two persons are behind the prison or behind the cage, and they'll sing.
Yes. Yes. Go on.
Yes, ma'am. And for their freedom, or for they are together, they are singing.
Yeah. This was Ayushi?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Yes. Shobna, I think you would have said the same thing. This is a cage, prison, and we too will be as innocent. Let us feel so innocent and leave all these worries of the world, and like a bird we shall sing in the cage. That means he has regained his senses. When thou dost ask me blessing, I shall kneel down and ask of thee forgiveness. Now he says that before my daughter I am kneeling down and I am asking her forgiveness. He's asking forgiveness of Cordelia. So we will live. This is what we shall do in that cage, in that prison, and pray and sing. We will be praying, we will be singing, and I will be kneeling down before you. I will be asking forgiveness. And then tell old tales and laugh at gilded butterflies. We shall see butterflies there. We shall be telling tales to each other and hear poor rogues talk of court news. And let these people, they talk about court. I am not at all interested in kingdom. I am not at all interested in my kingly state. And we shall talk with them too. Who loses and who wins, who is in, who is out, and take upon the mystery of the things. Now we shall more focus on the mystery of the things as if we were God's spies. We shall talk to these people, we shall know what is happening in the court, and at the same time we will pretend as if God has sent us to, and God would ask us what is happening here so that he can punish these people. And we shall wear out, we shall get tired in the walled prison, packs and sects of great ones to ebb and flow by the moon. Ebb and flow, that means our life will only be governed by the moon. Edmund says, take them up. Yes.
Ma'am, basically he's trying to convince Cordelia that in the prison we will be more free than to be in control of Gondrel and Regan.
Yes. He is saying this, and at the same time just remember that he has just gained his senses, and this is a poor old man and he cannot think anything rationally, anything logically, and he is just he's a fallen person, a broken person, and now he's just this is more of a kind of a repentance. कि मैंने लाइफ में कितना गलत किया कि सब कुछ मेरा चला गया है, अब जो भी है, now that he has broken this mold, इस मोल्ड से बाहर, इस स्ट्रक्चर से बाहर निकल के, है ना, he just wants to be with his daughter.
I just want to rectify all of the bad I have done in
Yes,
life.
yes, that you may say, yes, that is repentance.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, now Edmund comes. Okay, go follow them to prison. One step I have advanced thee. If thou dost as this instructs thee, thou dost make thy way. Now instruction has been to kill. Edmund is sending a person to kill Albany. Sir, you have shown today your valiant strain. You have shown how brave you are, he's saying to Edmund. And fortune led you well. You have won this battle. You have the captives. You have this father and daughter and so many other captives also from the war. That were the opposites of this day's strife. We do require them of you. Now we need these captives. So to use them, and we shall find their merits and our safety may equally determine. हम तय करेंगे आप कि इनका क्या करना है ना? लेकिन Edmund, what he says, so I thought it fit to send the old and miserable king to some retention and appointed guard, whose age has charms in it, whose title more to pluck the common bosom on his side, and turn our impressed lances in our eyes, which to command them. With him I sent the queen. Queen means Cordelia, Queen of France. My reason all the same. I have sent both of them are taken care of. That means he does not want to hand over these two to Albany, because he knows that Albany is not going to kill them. Where you shall hold your session. At this time we sweat and bleed. The friend has lost his friend. Just let's focus on our British army. And the best quarrels in heat are cursed by those that feel their sharpness. The question of Cordelia and a father requires a fitter place. This we can discuss later, okay, what we should do with Cordelia and Albany. Sir, by your patience I hold you, but a subject of this war, not as a brother. It's not as a brother, but I hold you as a subject of war. You have been a part of this war. That's as we list to graze him. Methinks our pleasure might have been demanded. And now these people, they want to kill, not so hot. In his own grace, actually, you know, just if you notice that these two sisters who pretended to love each other, their good bonding, the moment that they got this kingdom, from that moment itself, they are jealous of each other and they want to remove each other. Okay, and since they have got no morals also, so they are after Edmund. That is the lust they are talking about. And then now here what is happening, that here whenever it comes to a matter of Lear and Cordelia, they join together hands. And as soon as that matter is resolved, they are after each other. That means they have peace, no peace either way. Okay, now I am skipping all this. Here what basically the doubt has been planted in Goneril and Regan. Okay, so one of them goes off the stage, one is committing suicide, and these all scenes are there. I think you can go through that all. Albany, Harold, Edgar. This was actually there is a scene of a letter where some message has come, and now they are planning to kill. Okay, I have just passed all that. This was I actually want to complete this play today. That is my intention. So coming to the, you just come to the last part of the play. Act 5, scene. This act has only 3 scenes actually, 1, 2, and 3. Actually, I am on my mobile, so because of that, there is some problem. Have you got Act 5, Scene 3?
Yes, ma'am.
I am not getting that actually. Yeah, here it is, I think. No. Actually, here in this scene, you know what is happening is that Edmund does not hand over Lear and Cordelia to Albany. Okay, so he brings them as a prisoner. He's bringing them to the stage, and Cordelia just wants to meet her sisters, but King Lear does not want to meet his daughters. Okay, now all that imagining that birds और ये वो सारा इसमें हुआ है ना? All that has taken place. Then there is the entry of Kent here also. Did you find that? Cordelia has been killed in Act 3. Just wait. Could you open those lines which I just wanted to do? No, in the last part, Cordelia has been killed, so King Lear is coming and he is carrying the body of his daughter. And he is again, he has turned insane. He is grieving over that. Did you get that? Can anyone read these lines so that I get these lines?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Just read the lines, Act 5, Scene 3.
Ma'am, from here, like, re-enter King Lear with Cordelia dead in his arms. No.
Yeah. Where is it? Act 5, Scene 3 mein?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Albany says the gods defend her, bear him hence a while, and then Edmund is born off and re-enter King Lear.
मोबाइल में थोड़ी सी ना प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है इस तरह से. Okay, go through this.
King Lear starts like howl, 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 howl. Oh, you are men of stones. Had I your tongues and eyes, I would use them so that heaven's vault should crack. She is gone forever.
Okay, so what he is saying that he is just crying out. Howl means he's just crying out and says that those people who have killed Cordelia, and what kind of heart they had. It must have been made of stones. So he says that had I your tongues and eyes, I should use them to open the vault of heaven. मतलब heaven की तिजोरी इतनी मजबूत रही होगी कि उसको destroy कोई नहीं कर सकता है, लेकिन तुम्हारी tongues और eyes they are so cruel कि अगर वो होता तो मैं उससे कॉर्डेलिया को मारने की जगह उस पावर को यूज करता for opening the vault of the heaven. Did you get these lines? She is gone forever. I know when one is dead and when one lives. She is dead as earth. Lend me a looking glass. Now he says that give me a mirror. If that her breath will mist or stain the stone, then she lives. Now he wants to make sure that तो mirror में अगर सांस होगा ना तो वो उसमें उसका वो vapors आ जाएंगे. Is this the promised? हाँ.
I couldn't get these lines.
अच्छा, मिरर के सामने अगर आप मतलब ब्रीदिंग करते हैं तो क्या होता है?
हाँ, मिस्ट सी थोड़ी सी पे आ
सो हाँ, तो वो कंफर्म करना चाह रहा है कि ये डेथ हो गई है या नहीं. सो ब्रिंग मी द लुकिंग ग्लास. दैट वाज द टाइम कि इतना पल्स देखना एंड ऑल दैट मेडिकल वो सब नहीं था ना नॉलेज. सो दैट इज दिस द प्रॉमिस्ड एंड और इमेज ऑफ दैट हॉरर? Fall and cease. Now these people, they are also horrified with these things. This feather stare, she lives. अब उसका feather कुछ stare कर रहा है तो तो क्योंकि सांस में को check करने के लिए feather सामने लगाया है तो वो stare कर रहा है तो he thinks that she lives. If it be so, it is a chance which does redeem all sorrows. अगर if she is saved, if she is alive, then our all sorrows will end. Oh good master, he's saying no, he is not. Pray away, go away. He's मतलब इतना पागल हो गया कि he is unable to realize that daughter has died. A plague upon you, murderers, traitors! I might have saved her. Now she is gone forever. Cordelia, stay a little. What is that thou says, her voice was, अब वो सब याद कर रहा है. अब now see how all women have become good for him. What is thou sayest? Her voice was ever soft, gentle, low. कभी ऊंची आवाज में नहीं बात करती थी. She was so soft and gentle, an excellent thing in women. This is something that a woman should have. They should be soft, gentle, low. I killed the slave that was hanging a day. I have done the worst thing in my life. It is true, my lords, he did. Did I not, fellow? I have seen the day with my good biting of. Now he is again that lamenting and all that is going on. Come to the last part. That fool, king says, my old poor fool is hanged. उसको भी इन लोगों ने hang कर दिया है. No life. Why should a dog, a horse, a rat have life, and thou no breath at all? He is now crying over the death of fool also. He faints, my lord, my lord. Now what happens? King Lear has fainted. He is gone indeed. Now he has died, King Lear. He cannot bear the shock of the death of his daughter, and so he dies. Now the last part, Albany. The weight of this sad time we must obey. We must accept that in our kingdom a great sadness has spread, a sorrowful thing has happened. Speak what we feel, not what we ought to say. अब ये टाइम आ गया है कि we need not do all जो होता था ना फ्लैटरी एंड ऑल दैट. स्पीक व्हाट यू फील, नॉट व्हाट वी ऑट टू से. वो नहीं बोलो कि जो बोलना चाहिए, वो बोलो जो महसूस कर रहे हो. द ओल्डेस्ट हैज बॉर्न मोस्ट. सबसे ज्यादा किसने इस सबको झेला है? The oldest person, King Lear. The oldest hath borne most. We that are young shall never see so much, nor live so long. We cannot live like King Lear, and we cannot go through all the hardships that King Lear had gone. And then there's a dead march. They are carrying away the bodies. That is how the play ends. So time is, huh? Yes.
Gloucester has also died in between, like.
Yeah. There have been almost all people have died. It is just Albany who survives. Edgar survives. Kent, and then in the end it is in the myth. I told you, this has been taken. The story has been taken from the myth.
Yes.
So several versions of Shakespeare, King Lear has been made. In the later ages, people did not like the end that Cordelia should die. So in some plays, for some period, the ending of the play was changed, and Cordelia was made the queen. King Lear ruled for some time, and then he died after a year or two, and then Cordelia was made the queen. And in some of the versions of the play, it is Albany who becomes the king after death of Lear and Cordelia. And in some versions of the play, it is that people ask Kent to become the king, but he refuses, and then Edgar becomes the king.
Okay.
But in this version that we are studying, it is Albany who is becoming the king.
Albany who.
Yes. Okay, now you go through the play as much as you can, and in our next class we shall be discussing different parts of the plays and the theme of the play. We will be analyzing, and then these things will come up.
Okay.
First reading we have done. Yes.
Yeah. Can everyone just switch on their camera for a minute so that I can take a screenshot, because last time some of the cameras were off in the beginning. Please, for a minute. सब लोग अपना कैमरा ऑन कर लो.
Ma'am?
Yes?
I have already opened the camera, but it is not showing my face. I don't know why.
Who?
Ayushi Pachori there, ma'am.
Okay, next time we shall see. No problem with that. But your name is written on the screen, so there's no problem.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, AP and Ayushi Pachori name is coming here.
Okay, ma'am.
Some people, their name does not appear on the screen, so it is better you just see the settings and try that your name comes. Shobna, your name is also not coming, Just try to.
That is on my phone. It is there. No, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, I will take a screenshot and put it up.
Yeah, sure.
ठीक है. Thank you, ma'am. Switch off.
Most okay, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bye bye.